Do I have a schematic banger for you guys this morning where we will be discussing heart intelligence all the way to the heart organ is made of neurological cells, brain intelligence, and when certain senses and features develop or are lost, or when certain features develop, other features can be lost, and when certain features are lost, other features can develop. A little bit of a dissection into the human transformation itself, all the way from metaphysics to biology, right? And I think this is an important natural focus and understanding that really, truly, if we were to think about a dynamic, best education system, this would really be one of the more primary lessons. But interestingly, people have absolutely no relationship between this kinds of stuff and its natural function, which can totally maybe even underscore kind of the purpose of life, or our definition, understanding knowledge obtained, a wisdom explained that explains, a knowledge obtained, a wisdom that explains how trauma can break someone or reorganize them. So PTSD is one of the major subjects that we'll be discussing this morning, because we're taking from the time. While I have seen recently many students of life, let's just say, even if they call themselves coaches or gurus and ask you for thousands of dollars, that's not the truth, right? The truth is we're all students of life, hopefully. Because if your truth is you know everything already and you're a guru and a teacher, if that's really your truth, which it's not the truth, but if that's your truth, your learning will be stifled quite a bit much more than ours, right? That person's learning will be stifled quite a bit more than our learning will be stifled, because all our positions remain open. We're constantly learning. We're seeking intelligence. We're not believing too much, really. We're just seeking and learning and shaping and accepting or disqualifying. What you accept, you install. So you better investigate, because if you let too many ill installations whose root is a deception in your binary code, you've got bad code. And good code can't let you in, right? The best code is honor code. Truth is always the best policy. And what people don't understand is truth tellers have different biology than liars do. That's a fact. PTSD lines are different lines than narcissism lines, and we're finding them both in brain scans, okay? They show all these little symptoms, dynamic fingerprints that we leave everywhere. All that stuff is so incredibly important to also look back at in the reflective refinement period. This morning's live was on AI and the way AI learns. Well, AI learns the way we learn. AI has been built on what's been known of existing biological neurological pathways. That's why it's intelligence, just artificial intelligence. And just like organic biological intelligence, they don't know what artificial intelligence is drawing from completely, right? They tried to redesign what's really, truly, most likely an antenna. We're really most likely getting permissions and accesses to new information based on merit. And both sides can promote you and start feeding you secrets, right, into your ear to help you. It's going to be based on your character and what you do, how honest you are versus how deceptive you are, how giving you are versus how taking you are. I keep telling guys, I just scream it to their face all the time. Listen, guys, if you support other people, you will rearrange your biology to become recognized from above. And that is seriously what it is. And you know what? If a stacks and stacks of money is going to throw me off my lightning adventure, if I would be stupid enough and ill prepared in a dynamic fashion, uneducated in a dynamic fashion, uninformed in a dynamic fashion, blind, ignorant, no old heads who cared about me to tell me stuff, and no independent study. That's the big one. I don't need old heads. Everything I need is within. I'm a professional at finding old heads and picking and interrogating their brain, you know what I mean, to the point where they're like, wow, you're an aggressive guy that gets to the bottom of stuff, and I need someone like you, right? Trauma, so extreme trauma can cause fractures in identity, attention, memory, and worldview. Sometimes that turns into PTSD, shutdown, avoidance, addictions, anger, etc. But sometimes it does something else. It forces the ego to die. And when the ego dies, people often become more truthful. They can't fake it anymore. More empathetic. They felt real pain. More present. Their life feels sacred. And because once you've had enough close calls and you've really been checked and tested, and you've lost shit that you should have spent more time with, and now you can't, and you got heavy regrets over it. It's those things that will make you more compassionate and more authentic. I'm done with the bullshit, man. The bullshit caused me to miss that. The bullshit caused me to be this. The bullshit costed me my whole freaking life. We're on a tightrope, ladies and gentlemen. Once you finally start to recognize that, you will become more truthful, more empathetic, more present, more compassionate, and more authentic. And when I see fake ass people talking about how they're this and that, and to a legend, or something like, you know what I mean? You can analyze situations all kinds of different ways, but when I see a young punk talking dumb shit, well, that's how I categorize them. And listen, man, I've seen I have seen the Schematics up close, unfortunately, that create the Catch Me Outside girl. I know what makes that kind of, I'll let you pick a word for it. Psychology, this is close to what's called post-traumatic growth. In psychology, this is what's close to being called post-traumatic growth. Some people after trauma develop deeper meaning, stronger relationships, and a clearer value system. And you can see it when you look at their life. If you want to look at my life, go to Brandon Angel Fitness on Instagram, and you can look at my life in live time. Just click on the story bubbles. Okay, Brandon Angel Fitness on YouTube. I remix the story bubbles into gripping, conscious downloads of collaboration, of supporting others, actually. And I think if I ever do any more, they won't even have my voice really too much in it unless it's off the live Instagram thing. I'll just keep putting Napoleon Hill and Carl Jung, because that's what we all really need to be downloading all the time, just constantly, right? We should be reading about people like Leonardo da Vinci, high functioning, high accomplishing, high achieving people like Einstein. Einstein's my favorite person in the world. I mean, it's just like, you can read all the wealth of stuff this guy was leaving Rudolf Steiner too. It's not for everybody. Not everybody. If you like everybody that I like, and you have nothing constructive and test, if you can't push back at all, eventually, nature is not going to respect, this is like when I finally had to kick her butt right here for doing something stupid, for running into traffic, funny thing, for running into traffic, and I'm going to beat the whooper. Now, look, she doesn't test me at all. She respects me, because I'm not putting up with that. We got standards here. I'm going to make you better. Iron sharpens iron. I want to see you better. The only time I get out of my chair is in that aim, you know. So when we look at post-traumatic growth after trauma, people develop deeper meaning. Trauma doesn't automatically make people better. This is very important. It just makes the older version harder to maintain. Some people do turn bitter, some turn wise. The difference is usually support, reflection, purpose, and time. That's very interesting. There was a time where I was completely bitter, in fact. It's only been through reflection and purpose that I made, and support, actually, that I've been able to make it out. And I just want to keep reiterating, I'm only on the internet for one person, and anyone out there who's experienced child loss, everything I do is for free, guys. It's all volunteer. I just want to get my wings in stage 2. I'm not trying to, the last thing, I'm your fellow journeyman. That's it. I'm not your coach. Your heart smart versus mind smart model is a powerful lens, because I've noticed, like when my mind fractured, I couldn't talk to people. I was the most charismatic salesman, sales capable person you ever saw in your life. I've been able to pull off shit when I was 13 that you may not be able to do when you're 50. That someone might not be, nothing perfect, right? That someone might not be able to do when they're 50. There's someone that now that's 50 isn't even able to do close to doing. I've had a very fortunate, challenged life. I've had plenty of diverse adversity. That's very much the thing. And self-imposed is the best way. Self-imposed is the safest, best way. So just keep challenging yourself. As David Goggins says, embrace the suck. As he also says, if you're not getting the results you want, go harder. You're not going hard enough. Intensity, man. Intensity. And we've got some intense people coming into our group right now, and that's a good thing. That is a good thing, man. And because they care. Because they care enough, and they're generating that energy for a reason. You know what I mean? And we can generate that energy without drugs. In my help group, at plural, in my International Assassins Guild, where we murder demons using burpees as the bullets, right? Our own demons inside of us, as we purify, as we raise our vibration, as we check our box, which is mandatory, of physical exercise and gratitude to above for this physical being. So yeah, when my mind fractured and I lost a lot of those jazzy abilities, I started getting these deeper abilities where I could start to see inside of people, where I could start to see inside of situations after I got through that bitter time, after I got through that bottom of the bottle time. I lost a child, man. I lost a 10-year-old princess that couldn't stop saying my daddy this and my daddy that. We're not going to get stuck there, but that's where my trauma came from. And I got a special place in my heart for anyone who's experienced PTSD for any reason. Trauma doesn't automatically make people right, and I want to help you. I want to be the support. I'm happy to be the support. I'm very thankful for the support that I've got. So I love to be the support for other people. Boom! Bueno, qué buena mujer, qué buen, good girl, that's my girl. Okay, todo bien. Yes. Your hearts, so, and then on autistic people, I've actually been around several autistic people closely for a long time. One of them was my ex-girlfriend's patient. And he was the nicest, most friendliest guy. He was covered in burn scars, and he sling-bladed his whole family. He killed them, right? Because they were obviously abusive or whatever. He autistic guy, right? His internal intuition was so great. And see, I've also been in a position where I'm supposed to kill abusive people. And the results of their abuse is just the most craziest thing you could never dream up. It's just crazy. a psychoschematic you do not want to look at. You can't. It's so horrible. You can't. It's such a bad smell. You can't even look at it. The people who are products of it can't even look at it. If a person who's understanding and cognitive starts talking about it, everybody will change the channel. It's dark. It's the darkest thing. It's the darkest way you could lose your child. In fact, and off of that law of polarity, it is the greatest mechanism of building strength. If you face the biggest, most darkest oppositions and you come out of it a valiant motherfucker, you're the strongest valiant person that there is. And that's what I am trying to step into the plate. That's what I'm stepping into the plate of on the videos, is what I've already stepped into the plate on real life. Not I'm trying to step into some real life thing, faking it on the videos. I'm gonna make a sale though, and then I'll know that I'm doing the right thing all the way to the top of the city food chain and then jack off in front of everybody else. I mean, there's so many psychoschematics out there that the worst thing that could be is for them to happen to us. And so these autistic people are very heart smart and very mind not, and we're very mind smart and very heart not, right? Lately. So I'm noticing that. And the heart smart versus mind smart model is a powerful lens. You're calling heart smart basically emotional sensitivity, sincerity, moral clarity, empathy, care, authenticity, loyalty, deep intuition about people. Listen, there are hundreds of witnesses that will tell you I am actually the most explosive, capable, physical violence person. I haven't done it in 8 years. Anything violent. And the only times most of the times, just recent before that, were completely, most every time in my life were completely defensive. Completely defensive. Actually, that's really true. Or backing up a friend. That's it. Right? A couple of times I started shit and winning on someone because I know I'm capable of it and I shouldn't have done that. I don't feel good about it. All right. I feel good about the times I've taken other people out of that element into a higher intelligence, diplomatic phase where a lot of times that even evolves into strong working friendships. It's usually strong heads, but strong heads. You know what I mean? Most strong heads don't pay attention to weak heads. All right. And mind smart is logic, strategy, language precision, system building, analysis, problem solving. The broken world trains mind smart as status while often humiliating heart smart as soft. Once again, I am compassionate, I am authentic, I'm genuine. Most people out here telling you that they're liars. I don't know what to say. But I'm trying to make a real thing here, so I'm just going to be real. Right? And time tells all truths. You take your time, you follow, like, subscribe, and you see something wrong, you let me know, like a real cat. You know what I mean? Because I really just want to become more authentic. And I'm not the ultimate of authenticity by any stretch of the means. I'm just pointed in that direction. I'm aligned correctly. And I want the same for you because I know the benefits of that life, that lifestyle, and that ripple effect out in the world for other people and nature. The broken world trains mind smart as status while often humiliating heart smart as soft. Once again, I'm not soft. I'm so hard. I don't see the need to act and front. I'll bait you in, and if I find out you're slimy, then I can calmly, sensibly make the kickback decision whether I want to jump up and put my 25 years of kickboxing and wrestling all over you, or whatever else. You know what I mean? So, and you'll notice, and everybody's comments always like, why are all these people so friendly? You would have thought you'd seen all this ego and fucked up shit. Yeah, that's your judgment, actually, dude. You know what I mean? When you get checked every day with good, nice knocks, you're not a spoiled little weakling like you know, that doesn't have a good sense of what could really happen in the world. Autistic people often look heart smart and mind done, but that's misleading. Many autistic people are mind smart in different operating systems. I bet you a bunch of them are super telepathic. And shit we just don't even realize. They can be extremely intelligent, but not in the social. Autism can come with difficulty reading social cues fast, sensory overload, intense honesty, which, I mean, those people pass the test. I think really, honestly, at the end of the day, it's how honest were you, how good were you, how valiant were you, versus how destructive, dramatic, dumb, deceptive, and anyway, fucking selfish piece of shit were you. But all those people that go to those horrible degrees, I thank you, man. I mean, be more of a piece of shit, because I shine brighter. Like, without you, I guess I might just not really be that cool. You know what I mean? But next to you, fuck, man. Thank you. Deep focus and pattern recognition. Strong justice sensitivity. Directness that can appear socially blunt. Autism can come with difficulty reading social cues fast, sensory overload, intense honesty, strong justice sensitivity, deep focus and pattern recognition, and directness that can appear socially blunt. And I'll be totally honest with you, in my line of adversity, which they clinically call parental alienation, which is another perfect example of how mouth sounds don't begin to describe the scenario, no matter which ones you use and whatever language. It's been well recognized now that targeted parents who lose their kids start to show symptoms of borderline autism, which, according to these symptoms, is a total blessing, angelic feature system. So it may appear like, because remember, we're all systems, and that's what's recognizable about us, right? What are we producing? What are we doing? How are we doing it? What's the actual integrity and quality of this produce? So it may appear like, what's the effects it has on it in the chain of things. So it may appear like mind dumb because they're not playing the same social game. But many are actually hyper-truth based, extremely principled, emotionally deep, highly loyal, and highly intelligent. Blue! Blue! You come when I call. Do you understand? Training yourself is a lot like, what it really is. Like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing, man? You know what I mean? The multiple minds, and that's arguable about what that is. They tend to fight with each other a little bit. There's no conflict and cohesion. You're going to shut them up, get them out, or get them in check. That's it. You know what I mean? Get with the freaking program or get off the train. Because this ain't carrying bullshit. That's not the kind of train this is. Right? So it may appear like their mind, but many are hyper-truth based, extremely principled, emotionally deep, highly loyal, highly intelligent, just not always in the same socially smooth package. Thank you for correcting me on that, ChatGPT. I even feel bad about, the way I said it now. Not all autistic people are automatically empathetic in the emotion reading sense, but many have massive empathy in the moral sense. They care deeply about right and wrong, suffering, and fairness. Why trauma can create heart intelligence. Trauma forces a person to develop, and we'll wrap this up here, and I got a banger for us at the end. The diamonds are deep within the coal vein, formed under pressure for long periods of time. And I'm going to give you one here in just a minute. Trauma forces a person to develop survival skills like reading micro signals for safety, scanning environments for threat, understanding emotional dynamics fast, detecting deception, instability, meaning, making to stay alive. You're going to want to watch my last 3 lives and my last 3 not lives, because this is all about this, man. We're going to be some of the most mentally tough, advanced navigational computers in the game. Me and my channel's constituents. our group of study partners, all right? Meaning detecting deception and instability, understanding emotional okay, so trauma forces a person to understand emotional dynamics and detect deception and instability. Man, when you realize you've been duped, and we've all been duped, that's just one little, at varying degrees of extremity and intensity, that is a box we will all be checking. All right, we've been deceived, and you're either going to become a little deception prince or princess yourself, you're going to just believe deceptions, or you're just going to be a drifter, or you're going to galvanize yourself against all this bullshit, right? And become the rare, valiant, white and knight in shining armor that we all need. Serious, man. All right, it's not an analogy, it's a reality. What you're really seeing is two different types of intelligence. Cognitive intelligence, we're just going to break it down a little bit further because this is interesting. And relational moral intelligence. Our culture produces tons of mind-smart people who are emotionally immature, self-serving, manipulative, disconnected from real meaning and authenticity. Meanwhile, trauma survivors and many neurodivergent people have the opportunity to become that most valiant thing I just said, right? And they're emotionally honest, they're sensitive to suffering, they're allergic to fake behavior. That's me all the way. And they're hardwired for truth. That's also, and that can look like heart genius. Hoorah! The final synthesis is we're going to make a sharp mind, a clean heart, a disciplined nervous system, a strong body, a truthful mouth. That's the angelic edge. It is actually heroic code. Cowboy code, Indian code, all in one. Do you understand? It's dynamic, integral, valiant, honest, polar, good code. Ladies and gentlemen, in that very respect, let's just go ahead and give ode to the most intelligent code we've had thus far, the most bright shining light, so that we can become bright shining lives and examples ourselves. And so let's just go ahead and say, in the name of Jesus Christ, we pray that we can all become mentally tough through this practice, committed, disciplined, to the point that we shine so bright and our ripple effect bleeds over into many, that we do become fishers of men, that we do enhance spirits, that we do get our wings in stage 2, and we keep it right and we keep it tight and we stay that way till the very, very end. Nobody can do it. It's the hardest thing to do, and we're just the ones for it. We say this gratefully, thankfully, in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Let's get this, fellas, ladies, gentlemen, little ones, animals, plants, insects, biofoams, microbiomes, fungus, everything. Let's bring it together. Let's go in one direction, the right one. Let's go. Look at the full picture, ladies and gentlemen. I love you.